wanted to do a review of Fast X before, the time had passed, and let me just say that the Fast and Furious movies have always been those movies that have never felt like real cinema. Obviously, when you say that, you say, well, of course they're not. Or when you think about superhero movies, you go, well, some might be cinema, some might not be. But the Fast and Furious movies have just, time and time again, felt like Hollywood milking a franchise that made money just because, well, they can make more sequels. And ever since, it seems like these stories have just gotten more and more soulless. Like, what type of story are you telling with these films? I don't know. It's funny to even describe a Fast and Furious movie. It's why they've become just the butt of jokes. I mean, they made a whole American Dad episode about finding a script to Fast and Furious, which was lost, and really about a romance between Paul Walker's character and Tyrese's character. I mean, this has just become such a parodied story because it doesn't have anything to say at all. It's just about family, cars, cool stunts. Like, that's it. There's really nothing going on here. I mean, if you were to explain what it was about, I mean, it's like one of those things where I have to explain what Euphoria is about, and I'm just like, you want me to explain this shit? Like, it's just like unrealistic, like high school people having sex and being upset and drugging up, and I like that's how I would, not how I would describe Fast and Furious, but I would just describe it as something equally ridiculous and not really tangible, or something that I would see happening a lot. But let's just discuss the new Fast X movie, because I think despite all of its, nonsensical, like, just everything about it, despite how ridiculous this whole movie is, I think that it actually is quite fun, really, and I think that, compared to at least Fast 8 or Fast 9, these movies have run out of titles. They guess they thought that, Fast and Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Fast and Furious 7, like, wouldn't be good. So they just started calling the movies all different names. Furious 7, Fast 9, or, like, F9. They literally called it F9. I mean, they didn't even call it Fast 9. Like, who comes up with these movie titles? It's so confusing to me. But let's just talk about Fast X and, like, what the point of this movie was. Well, this movie is trying to be a sequel. That's the whole point. All of these movies are just trying to continue, and that's all they can do. They can't really tell a story. I mean, I think that Paul Walker's character, making him alive was a little bit of a weird choice. Like, I don't like that they keep bringing him up or being like, oh, Brian is back. Because, like, yeah, he's gone. They mentioned that, he stopped by for dinner or whatever. But, like, it's just weird to me that he's still alive in the context of this universe, yet he's not there. Like, he has his wife, right? Jordana Brewster. He has a kid. But, like, why is... Obviously, he's passed away. But, like, it just is so weird to me that they decided to keep him, like, alive in the series, yet he's, like, not there. Like, I don't know what he's fucking doing off screen. Does anyone know? You can tell me. But it's just overall so weird to me and, vaguely empty. I think when you're talking about Fast and Furious, you're supposed to be having great stunts, epic, just something that's going to be drawing you to the screen. But yeah, they're just always running out of ideas. Like with Fast 8, that was the worst one, and let's talk about why. I think the Fate of the Furious sucked because it took everything that was great about, Fast and Furious, and it kind of took it away. Like, this movie benefits when all the characters are together. It benefits from that group dynamic. It benefits from the family, like that dynamic that we've been promised, and the jokey, banter between everyone. We didn't have that at all in Fate and Furious, and that was the worst thing about it. I think Furious 7 was very good because you had the gang all together, and on top of that, you had some really cool stunts. It was very funny to watch also. I thought it was incredibly enjoyable. And it just was really well directed. I mean, Justin Lin was a great director. Oh, I'm sorry, James Wan was a great director with Furious 7. Like, I really have always loved James Wan's style. It's very, distinct and cool to me. Even when he makes horror movies, he, tries to do cool shots. Like, if you saw Malignant, he's a big fan of these Gallo horror references. And even in Saw, the first Saw, that was his first film, so it was very different. But the point is, James Wan makes entertaining movies. So does Justin Lin, who directed the last Fast and Furious. But those stories were just not good. And, honestly, I think Louis Leterrier, or however you say his last name, who directed this new movie, he did a decent job. I think, though, it just has to do with the story being so ridiculous and bloated, but kind of in a good way. Like, this movie works because of the villain. That's the thing. Like, Jason Momoa sells this film as the villain, as Dante Reyes. All they're trying to do at this point, like I mentioned, is, continue this franchise. It could be done if they wanted it to, but now they're just digging up skeletons. Like the actor who they killed in the fifth movie, the antagonist, the very boring villain. Now his son, is played by Jason Momoa, and he's the bad guy. And all of a sudden, he's like, "I want revenge," and that's the plot of the movie right there. But he injects it with so much life. Like Jason Momoa is so good in this movie. He makes it very good. I saw rumors that Vin Diesel said, oh, he's ruining the franchise because we got bad reviews because of him. I'm like, they've all gotten shit reviews. What are you talking about? But I think that this, particularly last one, was good because of Jason Momoa. It was his performance that made the film good. I don't think Fast and Furious has ever had a villain that is memorable, except for the second one. And I'm serious. The second awful one, Too Fast, Too Furious, such an early 2000s movie. That movie was actually, somewhat memorable because of the gangster, like, who was, like, trying to put the rat in the guy's body. This movie has a similar kind of psycho antagonist, and I think you need that psychoticness if you're going to have a good character. I think that, Jason Statham's character in Furious 7 worked very well because he was kind of similar. Yeah, he was British. He was more of the, sly Jason Statham version of this character. But I think that you need an over-the-top, lively villain if you're going to make your film good, especially if it's Fast and Furious, just because the movies have nothing to offer. They're really stupid. The twists in the movie are awful. Like, there's one twist here involving Alan Ritchson that I thought was hilarious. Also, Alan Ritchson's character looks like a Giga Chad to me. Like, the whole thing with him being like, "Oh, you're going to need another watch," and he, like, throws the watch off. I was like, that was, like, the most ridiculous bit in the movie. Well, not really. It's full of ridiculous bits, but it just overall, to me, I didn't think it was bad compared to the Fast 9 and the Fast 8, because those movies were both awful. And John Cena's character in Fast 9 was kind of wasted. They kind of just, like, turned him into this evil villain. But in this movie, he's like an uncle. Like, no, like 180. They just are like, okay, now he's good, and I guess that's fine. Kind of makes sense because John Cena's really good at playing that character, like Peacemaker, or he's just very good at playing that, like, fun uncle type character. But it was so weird how they just segued into that. I'm like, okay, now he's good. But yeah, I think that if you're going to have a villain like Jason Momoa, he's going to fit perfectly into this franchise. He also, I think, was channeling a lot of his own improv, it seemed. It seemed like a lot of that was him. But I like that, and I think that you need an over-the-top character like that if you're going to anchor a franchise like this or keep it going. I also think that it was pretty well paced with all the stunts and, how they're traveling across the world. It doesn't need the depth that, some movies have where they're like in this movie, they're literally like, well, we're going to Rome, like, because they're like, just one phone call, they say, like, oh, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place, and now they have to travel to Rome to, like, stop a bomb from going in the street. I think that all the set pieces are really fun. It really feels like, a kid thought of this, like, especially the final scene where two trucks drive on the dam, and then there's, like, Vin Diesel's car in the middle. I thought this was fun in a really, childish, cartoony kind of way. And that's sometimes all you need. It doesn't have to be Mission Impossible levels of, this is excellent action. Yes. Like, you can have fun in all sorts of movies. I think this one was a better Fast and Furious movie just because they had a good villain, and that's it. And that's sometimes all you need, just a good balance of those elements. So let me know what you guys thought of Fast X. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more. Fast X Part 2, Part 3. They're definitely going to make them. I mean, they were saying that, now we might make Fast X Part 2 and Part 3. They're just going to milk it. And I think this one, for better or worse, might have every single Fast character in one movie. I mean, from post-credit scene to the final scene, they had every single celebrity you can imagine. It was like a who's who. I mean, I feel like they were paying like 10 A-listers like salaries. It's probably why this movie is like the 7th highest grossing movie ever, which is insane. Like, this is the 7th highest grossing movie ever. That's insane. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Fast X. Thank you for watching. Take it easy.